this is a judge's view, because as I've judged these awards for 7 years now, Noel has also judged them. It is about the results in the first place. That's very clear from what you saw tonight. We were fantastically impressed by the very small budget which Yo Valley had and what they actually achieved with that. But let's also be clear, it is about numbers. You do read an awful lot of case histories which go, the results were fantastic, or they were phenomenal, or what? Yes. You also often read about, I mean, and indeed some of the cases you saw tonight talk about fantastic, you know, as a result of, you know, PR or whatever, fantastic media value gained out of all of it. That's all great, but in the end, I mean, the most important figure you're looking for is profit. If you can give it to us, but I have to accept this, that some companies won't, but you will find, and Yo Valley actually didn't give us profit, but they did absolutely gave us sales, and they gave us market share. And I think, again, market share is a fairly hard piece of data, which we do like to see. And of course, obviously, return on marketing expenditure, if you can give it to us, although people do invent some pretty fancy figures there. So these are kind of put in order of what I think we regard as really interesting. And yes, of course, we like to see brand awareness, attitude trends, and all that kind of intermediate data. But as I say, it's the top stuff that really counts. Well, it's been touched on quite a lot this evening. I think you're actually in there in this picture, Ben, but only just about recognisable. Anyway. It is a fact, if you count up this year's winner, 75% of the winners come from client agency teams. And my observation would be that, generally speaking, the agencies add a fantastic amount in terms of how the case is presented, just the clarity of the story, the better written, better presented all the way around, and often have huge motivation, of course, to see a winning case history on behalf of their clients. Clients, on the other hand, I think do also get fantastic value out of the out of the story. Certainly, the credit, you know, the marketing department does in any large company. What actually holds clients back, I think, very often is worries about data and whether it can be confidential and all the rest of it. And so, just to remind you, key data can absolutely be kept confidential. You can mark anything you like in the case history, not for publication. The judges have all signed a confidentiality agreement. You can mark the whole thing as not for publication if you wish, although clearly what we're trying to do in the Marketing Society is make these cases available afterwards, because they're a fantastic opportunity for all of us to learn. And of course, wow, this is one of the great places to learn. Only £29.99. This fantastic book, now also available digitally. You can have a signed copy afterwards for no extra cost, although they do say that the unsigned copies are the rarest. Anyway, but for members of the Marketing Society, these cases are also available, of course, actually at the website. And I do recommend looking again at all the cases, even the ones you've seen tonight, because the Yo Valley one in particular is beautifully written. So you can you absolutely learn from the past. And the other piece of data you'll find actually on the website is how many entries there are in each category. So if you, I mean, in some ways, the most basic piece of, most basic tip I have for you about winning the Marketing Society Awards for Excellence is, by all means, enter the Marketing Communications category, which Yo Valley won, but you'll find there are about 30 really good entries in that. There are about 30 really good entries in brand revitalization. Many of the other categories are much smaller. And if you have the good fortune to be an SME, that is a small or medium enterprise, I mean, that's a great category to win, because it had many less entries last year, but there you are. That's my tip for the evening. Do try and be easy to read, because if you think of it from a judge's angle, again, if you think you're judging marketing communications, you've got 30 papers to read. You can't give them really less than a quarter of an hour, 20 minutes each. You're talking sort of 8 hours plus of reading. So just you know, a case history that jumps out at you as really nicely presented, really good, great to read, really is a huge advantage. And to some extent, I'm just talking about, you know, integrating graphs, pictures, whatever, well into the whole story. You've seen all of the ones you saw tonight. I mean, you know, presented their data extremely well, but just make sure it is integrated. And of course, these days, being iPad friendly is really a really good idea. So that's really where you want to be looking at your case history, in fact. And then finally, start now. For those of you who don't recognise, this is in fact Usain Bolt being disqualified, but we promise you can't get disqualified by starting any time you like from now on. From tonight, the kind of, you know, the Marketing Society Awards for Excellence in association with marketing, sponsored by BT, are kind of open for your entries. So do start thinking about it. And although there have been some jokes about you know, entering at the very last minute and all the rest of it, I'm sure you'll have a much better chance of winning if you really start thinking about it now and get your team indeed assembled to do that. So good luck to all of you.